spell to make me look like a gnoll so I could go with him. We took Poyo to meet the spirit of the head priestess, but she didn't know anything about him. She did determine that he speaks Celestial.
Also speaks. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my AirPods just did something weird. Sorry.
Yeah, the quality definitely changed.
Yeah.
Is it better or worse?
I think it's
Just different.
different. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's better or worse. It's not as clear, but it's a little louder, maybe.
Huh. Okay. All right, I'll keep an eye on that. Anvir also speaks Celestial, so he can talk with him. In the course of talking with the priestess, Poyo said that he swallowed something from the temple, and apparently it was a holy relic of Heronius. It looked like the priestess was going to forcibly take it back, but Anvir talked her out of it. We were struggling to come up with a plan, so we set out for the Long Spear camp first to see if we could get any ideas. They told us that Garrow, which I probably misspelled, had not returned, and if he was captured, he would likely be in the prison. We decided not to try a prison break, so we set out for the Sharp Rock camp and still tried to come up with a plan. As we got closer, I disguised Dosha to look like a Sharp Rock Knoll, and just in time, as the patrol came near us, Dosha approached them, and while I didn't understand what he said, most of them seemed to like it. Then they all turned on one member of the patrol and killed him. The rest agreed to help us get inside, told us who and where the leaders were. We gave them time to get their family and friends out, but then we tried to move closer to the gates, be ready to move faster when they came out, and that did not go so well. One of the guards heard us and came over to investigate. Poyo had turned into a toad and decided to try to go forward and provide an explanation for the noise, but the guard seemed to have never seen a toad before and prodded Poyo with the butt of his spear. Scared by the sound Poyo made in reaction and angered by the mocking laughter from the other guard, he kicked the toad, which promptly turned into Poyo, to the guard's surprise. Dosha and I came out, tried to defuse the situation, but didn't have a whole lot of success as the one guard did not appear to be convinced. Andir put the guards to sleep. We tied them up. The patrol returned with their refugees and took the guards with them into the cavern. I disguised myself as one of the guards. Dosha and I acted like we were leading prisoners into the camp, but unfortunately Dosha was not able to convince the Knolls what we were doing, and we were soon under attack. I cast a spell on Dosha to provide him with some sanctuary and ran to cover to change my appearance to look like one of the hunters. And Eldwin cast Fireball on Witherlings. The others fought trying to kill the leaders, but not the innocent Knolls. And I began wrestling with the Knoll hunter that I now looked like, hoping to pull off a desperate ploy.
And that's, yeah, about where we left off. I'm getting some background noise from, I think it's Eldwin. Just FYI. Is anyone else hearing that, or is it just me?
No, I get a little bit. It's like a little bit of wind.
Yeah, like breathing or something. So for now, since...
Is Ark meant to be on the map?
No.
And is that huge thing meant to be at the map? I saw nothing.
No. Ark. Well, actually, he is on the map, but he's not there. So we're going to do a little bit of a retcon. When you came in and attacked, you all would notice, looks like someone over here tied up. Let me do quick descriptions. What does Ark, what does Ark look like to them when they would see him?
Sorry about that. My Roll20 is lagging like nuts. It's not looking good.
Just the like the map here, or?
I think it's the map. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it might stabilize. Yeah, there is dynamic lighting, vision and stuff. So it's You know,
Anyway.
one thing you could do. Are you using Chrome or Firefox?
I'm using Opera GX.
Oh,
It's a
uh,
yeah.
I'm not sure. Do you have access to Chrome or Firefox? Because those usually work best with Roll20.
Yeah,
Like I know how to turn on what's it called? There's a performance setting for Chrome you can turn on to make it run smoother. I don't necessarily know what it is for the Opera one.
my bad.
If
Oh.
you have access to it, we could try it. Is it still behaving really poorly?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, if you have access, I know for sure how to do it with Chrome. It's in settings. Do you have access to Chrome?
Yes, I do.
All right,
I'm
so
going on there now.
okay. Yeah, there's a way to do it in Firefox too, but I'm not sure. I have to go do a README on that.
I'll have to look at that because that's what I use.
Uh, Chrome isn't working well for me.
So if you're on Chrome, if you go into the settings, there's an option under. Do you see where it says Advanced in settings?
Second, tried opening D&D Beyond on Chrome, but it didn't open for some reason. Anyway,
Oh.
you said advanced.
Yeah, so if you go into settings under advanced, there's a system one, like a system select. And one of the options is use hardware acceleration. Make sure that's turned on.
It's on.
Okay. And is it working any better in Roll20?
I have to open Roll20 first.
Okay, yeah, let's see if that works out. Sorry, I should have thought of this. We could have worked on it while everyone was getting set up.
It's all good.
The technical difficulties.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's an option like that in Firefox as well, where you could turn on hardware acceleration. I know, like in the beginning, I didn't know about that, and Roll20 was really slow with the dynamic lighting, but that fixed it for me.
It's not faring any better in Chrome.
Okay, so even with the acceleration, it's still pretty slow.
Yeah.
Is it usable, or is it just completely terrible?
It's extremely slow.
Um,
It's extremely like one frame every 2 seconds or something.
Maybe try turning off animations because I know there is one there.
Oh, there's
Spiritual
no-
weapon underneath the other one.
there's no animations. I already turned it off.
Oh, you did that? Never mind.
I mean, the only other thing we could try is Firefox. Could see if that helps.
I think the big issue is the dynamic lighting.
Yeah, which shouldn't actually be that intensive, the dynamic lighting on this. Well, let's, I mean, or go
Might
ahead,
be
sorry.
something to do with my computer. I don't know.
So, let's just try Firefox really quick. If it's still really slow, we can just try it, see if it works. If it's completely terrible, I don't know, we could try to figure something out. This map is also a little bit bigger, so that might be part of it.
I've used big maps before and it's been fine, but
I mean, with the dynamic lighting, too.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's dynamic lighting.
So yeah, let's just give let's try Firefox, and if that's still terrible, we can reassess.
Let me see real quick.
Worst case, maybe you can just like watch the stream for the battlefield and stuff, and then like you can move and roll through.
Okay, yeah, it's working better on Firefox.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
Firefox is pretty good. I find. I find it's less hardware intensive.
And there might also
Yeah.
be a setting to improve it even more on Firefox, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. All right, good. So at least doable right now. So Ark.
Yep.
So Ark, what would you look like to them?
Well, he's a very tall, very bulky humanoid with very green scales, almost shining, much like a gemstone. I mean, it only makes sense, but anyway. In addition, he's also got blue eyes. So, if you'd be able to see that, yep, blue eyes. And I don't exaggerate when I say he's tall. He's almost 6 feet. So, yeah, wide shoulders, very buff, muscular.
All right.
And I'd say that's... Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Anything else?
I could also describe, like, what he'd be wearing.
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
want
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, he'd likely be wearing some simple fur clothing, likely a sort of wrap around his waist, some shoulder pads, and a fur cloak, and that would be about it.
Yeah, it seems like he is currently tied up, sitting against one of the tents. Poyo, what would you look like to him?
The fucking monstrosity.
And actually, you know what? He probably wouldn't see you guys all that well, so we can get to those descriptions later. Because you guys just kind of ran in here. So Ark, you might need to change back to your character again, because whenever you leave and come back in, it puts your portrait back to your account, which is really annoying, but unfortunately.
Right. Fixed it.
All right, so go ahead and highlight your token and give me an initiative roll so I can get you added to the initiative.
Alright. Sorry about the wait.
It's
Oh,
fine. You should hear us coming up with a plan.
why did your token appear over there now?
Ooh, that's very good. That's a natural 20.
Oh, so you have to make sure your token is selected, or else it doesn't save it. Oh, it did
No,
save
no,
it.
no.
Okay,
Let's
good.
save it.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
It did.
All right.
Don't panic the man.
Yeah, it seems like a good omen.
It's a good start. So going back in the order for the round, we were at the Knoll Hunter, who is up here. So he is going to... Let me get back into his headspace. What was he doing? So he did not like that Eldwin was throwing fireballs. So he's going to move over this way and take a
Speaking of
shot
fireballs.
at Eldwin using his longbow. Thunk. Ooh, natural 1. Alright, so the shot would fly here and hit this tent as he screeches angrily, getting ready to fire again, but that's it for him. This guy goes with his bow in hand. I think he's going to fire at you too, because you are kind of the big threat right now. So he pulls back an arrow. Jeez, another natural 1. Alright, so apparently he's distracted by the fire, and the arrow just kind of flies over here somewhere. That is it for him. This one over here goes. He is going to struggle as, I think Onyx, you grappled him, right?
Yep.
So he is currently grappled. He yells something at you in Nolish.
I do my best to imitate what he yells right back at him.
You are
He's an
trying to
imposter.
look
He's an
exactly like him. Alright, so he's going to drop his bow. Because realizes
Oh,
that...
well, that means I've got it because I was holding it with one hand.
Yeah, so he drops his bow. He is going to pull his spear off his back, wielding it with one hand. He'll switch to two hands and stab at you.
All right. Remember, we're in close combat, grappled here, so it's going to be hard for him to stab me with a spear with two hands. Just say.
Well, 12 versus AC would miss as he stabs, but it just kind of gets stuck in your armor and does not penetrate. He yells with frustration. That's it for the gnoll there. This one is still blinded. He's kind of looking around. Now, I think that was the blind from the Mephit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, does that just last one turn? Here, do I have to look that up? Let me see.
Oh, yo.
The Mephit that you summoned. Let's see. Death Burst. For 1 minute or a con save. So he can repeat the con save, but it's at the end of his turn. So he's going to rush this way, blinded, and he's going to kind of swing at the blurriness, making an attack with his spear at disadvantage.
Is there a chance that he might hit his ally instead of me?
Sure, why not?
All right. That's what I like to hear.
Oh, he doesn't have a spear, or he doesn't have a shield right now. I lied. So he lunges for you with his spear. 23.
With disadvantage? Jesus.
Oh, wait, disadvantage, right. 10. Alright, so yeah, he's swinging wildly at this blobbiness, and he just, trying to clear his eyes. At the end of his turn, he will make a con save. And rolls a 14, clearing the blindness. So he is no longer blinded. That's it for him. Next would be another gnoll back here. So he kind of runs this way, yelling something in Gnollish, and he is going to take a shot at... he doesn't want to shoot at those two, because he's not sure which one is his friend. So he's going to shoot at Poyo, because Poyo looks creepy to him. Donk. 13 versus
And
AC?
to all of us.
13 barely hits.
Alright, so you are struck with an arrow, Poyo, dealing 4 points of piercing damage as the arrow kind of sticks in your shoulder. Luckily, your armor took the brunt of it. And he...
How much temporary hit points do I get?
That wasn't your turn.
Yeah, you don't get temporary hit points. So you take 4 points of damage, and he howls in victory, ending his turn. Dosha goes, continues to scream at the people something in Gnollish. And we're back to the top of the round, so I'm going to reorder, because we have a new person. Which you
gets to go first?
would be first. So Ark, you are tied up, unfortunately, so you can't do anything right now. A bunch of the gnolls are screaming and attacking these people who came into town. You've been prisoner here for probably, I don't know, an hour or maybe a couple, I'll say a day. You've been imprisoned here for a while. They've been holding you here. What do you want to do?
Well, seeing as there's at least quite a few combatants left, I'm sure, it would probably be wise to stick to where I am for now until they're more distracted.
Alright, so you bide your time keeping an eye on things. Anything else? You would see that your weapons are still in the tent nearby. Although, yeah, your hands are bound right now. And the guys near you can see you.
Yeah, not the ideal time to break out.
Alright, so that would be it for you as you wait. And the Gnoll Fang goes. So this guy, I think he's going to go for Seth, because he did not like Seth beating on him. So he's going to do his multi-attack roaring as he claws twice and bites at Seth. 15 versus AC would miss on the first one. He takes a second slash. Oh, 22. Oh, that would be successful. Clawing him for 4 slashing. Seth takes it in stride, and then he attempts to bite him.
I'll have Hassan give disadvantage.
All right, so Hassan spends his reaction, and is Hassan still invisible?
He is, yeah.
Okay. So he makes a bite attack.
So he's like,
but
he's
he
sticking
rolls
a limb in the way.
a 21. So I think that would still hit even with disadvantage. So Seth has to make a saving throw from the poisonous bite. Con save. 16 would be enough, so he takes 8 points of damage, 6 piercing and 2 poison. Ah, you bastard, he yells. That is it for that guy. The Pack Lord goes. He continues to yell in Nolish, moving down this way, giving you an Oppionyx if you want to take it.
No, I'm going to keep trying to obfuscate which one is the real hunter.
Yeah. So he comes over to Poyo, and with his glaive, he is going to take a swing. 22, I think, got you, unless you have something. Alright, so the glaive would connect. Man, alright, 5 points of slashing. They're not rolling very well, luckily. So Poyo dodges to the sides, the glaive comes down, barely cutting him. This guy would yell again. Oh. And I'm going to check something. Okay. So he yells again, continuing to bark orders, but his turn is done. Onyx.
All right. I would like to attempt to move into this square, like kind of twisting as I'm still grappling with this guy, like
Okay.
just really trying to change positions. I will attempt to hit him with the butt of the dagger, just trying to deal non-lethal damage.
Okay. So you draw...
Can I still treat that as a dagger, or does it have to be...
Yeah, it would just be a
improvised
dagger.
weapon?
You don't need non-lethal until he's at 0. That's when it matters.
I don't want him bleeding out. Okay.
So... Oh, yeah, Poyo. Yeah, you got hit. Alright, so that would end the Mephit spell.
Oh.
Which is unfortunate. Those were doing some work. But 18 would strike as you hold him. He tries to stab at you, and you respond with a dagger stab for a whopping 3,
points of damage.
which doesn't seem to affect him much. He's still in pretty good shape. Anything else?
If all right, I forgot to mention that I would have dropped the short bow when he let go of it. Anything I could do to like drag him to the ground?
You would have to make a shove attack, which is basically another grapple, another athletics versus athletics or balance or acrobatics.
Acrobatics.
All right. Sure, I will attempt to shove him to the ground, and I will use an inspiration.
Okay. You have another attack to do that with?
Yes, and I'm going to use the emboldening bond here too.
All right, so make an athletics check.
And why not? I'll use the flash of genius on it too.
Oh, you don't
Just
have to
going
use
all
that.
out.
You don't have to use that till after you roll.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But he will make a.
You're gonna use it.
He's
I'll
going to
use it.
use Dex. Yeah, you easily push him to the ground, pinning him. So he is now prone.
So we're both prone, right?
No, just him.
What if he wants to grapple him? Prone?
Yeah, I was gonna say if I'm gonna keep grappling him.
You can go prone, but you do not have to, because he could be down on his knees right now. If you want to do
I'm gonna
it
go with
anyway,
you.
it's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the idea that I'm still trying to like keep anyone from realizing.
Look around on the ground.
All right, sure.
Yep.
Anything else?
With I guess I'll keep Hassan invisible for now.
All right.
But yeah, he'll keep talking. That's fine.
The shaman goes. He's gonna come down this way. None of you speak Nolish, right?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Dosha.
So he points to this one, says something. Points to this one, says something. He is then going to yell at Eldwin as his flying spectral spear attacks you.
No, that's my one.
Oh, is it?
I dispelled his.
Oh, that's right. All right. He is blinded too, cause yeah. So
He thinks it's still there.
yeah, he's probably a little confused, and definitely looks beat up. What's he gonna do? I think he's going to go defensive and shake his head, trying to get rid of the blindness. So he takes the dodge action. So he gets a saving throw at the end of his turn. Which he would fail, so he is still blind. Is he concentrating on the spell? I don't think he is. No, he's not. He has a lot of symbols. What else is he doing? He's got a shield, his sword. He's wounded. What's that one on him?
This is the problem when we stop in the middle of a combat. We're like,
Yeah.
crap.
What was all the stuff? I can't see what that symbol is on him. Alright, anyway, so that's it for him. Oh, I think that's dodge. That's what that is. Anvir, what are you doing?
Well, first things first.
Yeah.
Spiritual weapon. I'm trying to remember if I upcasted that at all.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I know I've used my 4th level spell slot, but I can't remember on what.
Let's assume it's not, and you can look back in the log if you want.
Yeah, I'll try and find it. For now, I'll just, good old whackety whack spiritual weapon.
Alright, and that's going at this guy?
Yeah. That would technically be a 13, just because I still don't know how to increase the spell attack from the staff you gave me. Not that I think it helps.
So you can do that in the macro itself, but 13... Whoa. What is going on?
You good there?
His AC disappeared. That's not helpful. Alright, let me check my compendium. Wow, why did it do that?
Wait, what happened?
Just his AC disappeared. Like, I don't know what his AC is. His AC... Okay, it's 14. Why did it disappear? Let me
one
get
off.
back in there. Really weird. Alright, so yeah, it would come at him, and he would just manage to move to the side, barely avoiding it. And he looks angrily down at you, but is continuing to attack Eldwin. So that was your bonus. What else are you doing? Anything else, Anvir?
Yeah, so sorry. I was thinking about moving or not. For now, I think as my action, I'll do a guiding bolt on the guy in front of me.
Guy in front of you? You mean this guy or this guy?
The Packlord.
Alright, so you chant, aiming at the Packlord as radiant energy flies forward. 22 would definitely strike.
16. Ooh, that's pretty good damage.
So he stumbles back as he is struck by this nasty radiant energy, singed from it. And yes, he is glowing, offering advantage to the next attack on him. Anything else?
I'm just going to move to here, next to Poyo and that.
Alright.
Try and get more people in the circle.
Alright, so you end your turn gaining some temp HP. A hunter goes. He is going to come down this way, keeping cover from the rocks there. He looks confused at Onyx and this guy struggling on the floor, and he's just going to take a shot at Aldwin. Pew! So he fires 2 arrows with his multi-attack.
He's just there like, no, I ain't taking this risk.
No, with the cover especially, he has a hard time getting a good shot, and both arrows just kind of fly over, hitting the rocks over here. Ending his turn, Seth goes cursing as he's going to swing his weapon at the zealot there. 10, unfortunately, is not enough. He curses, swinging a second time. 15, though, I think would strike, yes. So he does land a hit with the greatsword for 22 points of damage. And that guy looks wounded. He yells, where did Onyx go? I could use some help! That's it for him. Poyo. How much does he gain?
Sorry. 10.
Okay. Poyo, what are you gonna do? Are you muted?
I think he says that's still fucky. Yeah, he's typing.
Alright, I'm gonna delay you. Are you back?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to bonus action, pipe, wild shape into a giant toad.
He's
I'll
back!
be right here, and I'm gonna make an attack against this guy right here.
Alright, so unfortunately, you can't end in something space, so you have to keep moving.
Okay.
Just move diagonal a bit.
Yeah, and I'll move right here.
I like to
Okay.
imagine that's
And-
where he moved, and I just like get
Yeah.
pushed out the way of it.
So you kind of
I will make
move
a-
over that way and... Whoop, yep.
I will make a bite attack. 8. Ooh.
No, so he would kind of go, whoa, as suddenly a huge toad is next to him, looking very confused, and jump back as you bite at him. He yells a bunch of stuff and is now pointing frantically at you. Otto would say, can anyone get the Dragonborn released? He could be of help. Woohoo! And anything else, Poyo?
I think that's it.
Alright, so the Pack Lord. Oh wait, you had advantage on that attack.
Wait, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
you.
that was the guy I guiding bolted.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I thought you guiding bolted this guy over here next to
Yeah.
Alvin.
I also just remembered we weren't meant to be killing
Yeah.
these guys except for
And
the
do
shaman and
you,
the
do you
cult.
not have macros for your attacks, Poyo?
Not for my wild.
Alright,
Oh,
let me
jeez.
fix that, because I don't want you just rolling d20s.
Is his headset going to all hell for you as well?
Yeah, but so be it. It is what it is.
It works.
I can still understand him. So I'm gonna give you a toad under shapeshift. It's a giant toad, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me get that for you so you can actually have the stats for it. Oh, or do we have one already? Looks like we might have one.
You might have put it on there from when Ahote was part of the group.
Let's see, under Beast. Yeah, we do have one. Alright, so I'm going to put it into Shapeshift under Resources and give you access to it. So you should see Under resources, there's now a giant totem there. And let me make sure it's set up correctly here. Do you see it in there?
Poyo!
Poyo? We lose
Man,
Poyo?
he's not having a good day.
Alright, well, it's in there. But go ahead and give me another d20 roll for now. And next time you have that, so you can just click on his attack in there. Because, yeah, you would have advantage on that roll. Oh, yeah, 19 would strike. So he is bitten by you. So if you click on bite, that'll give me a damage roll.
And he's grappled.
Bite on the... you gotta click on it in the chat on bite.
Wait, where the hell did that roll come from?
Alright, so you do 12 piercing and 1 poison, which is 13. And he is grappled, which is restraining him. Okay. And that would be it for you, I assume.
Yeah.
Alright, so the Pack Lord's going. He does not like being grappled and restrained at all. So he is going to stab at you with his glaive. So, ooh, 21 versus AC, I believe, will hit you.
With disadvantage?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. So he cuts into you, dealing 11 points of damage. Pretty good hit. And he has to use an action, I believe, to break the grapple. So unfortunately, he is still grappled. Let me just double
Oh
check.
boy, once my next turn comes around, this is gonna be fun.
Remember not to kill the boyo!
So that's it for him. This guy goes, so he sees these
I
two
say it's Celestial.
rolling around on the floor. He just shrugs and is going to run over at the big toad now. Urgh. And he is going to stab you, because his boss is yelling at him to stab you. Oh, but he rolls terrible, stumbling as he comes at you and just spears the floor. And he is getting chewed out by this guy. So that's it for him. Otto is going to come over this way. And she might cast a spell, or he. Question is, does she have the spell prepared that I'm thinking of?
Or does she have spell slots left?
According to this, she has a bunch of spell slots. Alright, I think she's gonna just, or he's gonna Eldritch Blast at this guy.
We keep forgetting. Oh, no, is he?
So he is going to send several Eldritch Blasts flying over at that one.
Yeah, sorry, I've gotta restart my computer. My computer screen is being really glitchy.
Alright, no worries. We'll just get you back in a sec. So she...
I'm just gonna take a picture real quick to show you what I'm seeing.
Does she have 2 blasts or 1?
2.
Okay. So, second Eldritch Blast. Well, that one would miss, but she strikes once for 4. And she yells, "We should take those down over there!" That's it for Otto. The Knolls go.
Nah, leave the nougat.
Yeah, Ark's screen is glitching out. Hopefully, if you do a refresh, that usually fixes it. Yeah, that is a bit weird. I have no idea why it's doing that. Oh, yeah, that looks like an issue with the monitor, maybe.
You've been infected by an eldritch horror.
Yeah.
It requires cheese, endless amounts of cheese.
Alright, well, I'll give you a moment to work on it, see if you can figure out what's going on. So this guy here is sleeping still. Which I think this is the second round he was sleeping. And put a timer on him.
You know, that's probably what I cast at 4th level.
Oh, by the way, if I can be given access to the 30-foot dark vision of the giant toad real quick, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, sure. There you go.
Nice, thank you.
So that guy's sleeping. The hunter goes. He's gonna run up this way, trying to help his friend out. He sees the two of them, has no idea which one is which, so he's just gonna shoot at the big toad that looks like a really crazy monster. First shot is a crit, dealing 10 points of damage and reducing your speed by 10. The second shot would miss. That's it for him. This guy goes. He is going to take a shot at the toad, because everyone's really freaked out by that toad. Another 6 points of piercing with 20 versus AC. So you took 10 and 6.
It's so dying.
Did you take that 6? Did we lose you again, Pollo? I think we might have lost him again. Well, go ahead and do 6 points of damage to yourself.
Oh, trust me, I think he's already taken the 6 points of psychic damage so far.
Did he take it already? I didn't see his health move.
Oh no, I just mean him personally.
Oh. A lot of technical issues today.
I know.
Oh, did you? That's weird. I could have sworn it was still at 23, but alright, so you took the 6. That's it for him. Eldwin, what do you want to do?
Alright, I'm back.
Alright.
Yeah, no worries.
I have no idea what the hell happened. Just that the
Oh.
screen was just getting really freaking distorted.
It's a computer
So
virus.
I completely forgot to give Otto temporary hit points because you were playing, so it just kind of blended in with all the knobs.
Alright, well, he already had the 13. Eldwin, what were you doing?
Good then.
I'm going to. Hold on. Alright. I am going to cast at 3rd level, using my bonus action, Shadow Blade.
Alright, so you chant, summoning a blade of pure shadowy energy into one of your hands. Mark yourself as concentrating and put another timer on yourself, I guess, because you already have a timer for something. Your dance, I believe. The second timer is the green 0. I changed it.
The green 0.
Yeah, here, I'll put it on you just so you know what it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was your bonus action. What else are you doing?
Yeah. For my action, I'm going to take 2 swings at this guy.
Alright, so as he is slashing and biting at you, you go for him with the Shadow Blade. Otto yells, "We have to get those leaders of the clan! Hoo-hoo!"
Woohoo!
So I'll do my best to do an Otto.
Don't worry, trust me.
I don't have a. All right, I will just do this.
So if you have the spell, yeah, there you go. 19 will strike.
I have to roll another d8. That's only 2d8.
Why?
I don't have a.
Why do you have a?
I didn't have a
3D?
macro set
upcast
up
it.
for.
Oh well,
have-
if you just pull the spell on, it should give you the macro that lets you upcast. But go ahead, roll another d8 for now. So 9 plus another 3.
Yeah, typically it lets me choose.
So you cut for 12 psychic as you slash at him, and he grabs at his face, bleeding from his one of his eyes. Is that it? Do you have any other attacks?
I have 2 attacks.
Okay, go ahead and give me a
So-
second.
And just still checking. I think this is at advantage because it's in dim light.
There is a fire raging here, so it is not.
Oh,
Yeah,
there
but
is.
I thought, didn't we rule that my area is always classified as dim light?
Does it undo light?
It does dispel. Hold on, I'll have a look. I wasn't
Doesn't
sure.
matter.
I thought we had ruled in the past that it could, but I'll quickly link it, and you can tell me if you want to change that.
Alright, so you cut him for another 10 points, getting a nasty slash with the second attack. Anything else?
Nope, that's my turn.
Alright, so the Fang of Inogu goes, bleeding from several of his ears and eyes from the psychic damage. And I think you got some temp HP, right?
Yeah, sorry. I was just linking that for you.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, it's completely up to your
I think
definition of it.
so. I think that actually, so like, what that means, I believe, is that if you were in the dark area, it would cause it to become dimly lit. I don't think it causes a lit area to go from lit to dimly lit.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it
No.
cancels out light. I think it just gives a light source from you.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's a bit weird.
That would be my guess for that.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Okay. So the creature here is going to lash out at Eldwin. Very unhappy that you attacked him. He's going to claw twice. I think he missed with both. Your AC is it 19?
Yes.
Alright, oh, so he did get a hit with the second attack. 20
I
versus
would-
AC.
I would shield.
Alright, so as he comes in for the slash, you quickly scream a chant as you throw your hand up, knocking the attack back. He roars again, biting at you, but rolls an 18, and your shield continues to keep him at bay. So that's it for him. This guy back here is going to run up this way because he sees that giant frog suddenly come from nowhere, and he's going to take some shots at you, Poyo.
Alrighty.
22 versus AC.
That hits.
Alright, so you are struck with an arrow for 8 piercing. An 18, I believe, would strike you as well. So that hits for another 3 piercing. Not the best shot. Ends his turn. This guy here is going to fire at the toad as well, because it's a very obvious target. So with cover, luckily, because he does not ignore cover, both of those shots would miss. This guy here is continuing to struggle with Onyx. He's prone, but he's going to attempt to stab you with his spear, which will now be a disadvantage. However, I think since you're prone too, it's a wash, because he would have advantage on you for being prone, so it's just a regular attack. Stab. No. So you get stabbed at, but luckily you're pretty armored. And once again, he would just poke you in the armor, and it would not penetrate. Dosha continues what he's doing. This knoll...
Dosha gets 11, just in case.
Yeah, actually... Oh yeah, Dosha's going to stay there. So this knoll is going to move up this way. He did not like a caster being here, so he's going to engage Otto, pulling out his spear, two-handed, dropping his bow, and he's going to stab at Otto. 16 would hit, but Otto is going to cast... Does she have shield?
I don't think so.
Could have sworn she had shield. I'm just going to say she gets stabbed. So she got stabbed for 7 piercing. Woohoo! Ow! And the knoll continues to attack. Yeah, ahoo! This one here is going to stab at the frog. Crazy frog! He takes a one-handed melee spear attack. 12 would strike you, doing another 8 piercing.
Ooh, that ain't looking good.
That's it for him. So, Ark. So the eyes are kind of off you now. They're not watching you as closely. Do you want to try to do something?
I would like to try to escape my restraints.
Alright, so give me... I'm guessing you'd probably use strength for that?
Yeah, so athletics?
Yes, if you want to try to do an athletics.
Yep.
So, good roll. So you're yanking your hands apart violently as the ropes begin to wear thin. I'll say that you are almost out of them. You just need one more attempt as your bindings begin to loosen. And you're like, oh, it's working. So that's probably it for you, unless you want to try to do something else. That was your action.
Okay. I guess I'll just continue sitting here.
Alright, so you sit for the moment, trying to, probably better not to stand and draw attention. This guy is going to... He's going to go for Seth again. Crit with the first attack for 17. Luckily, Seth had 10 temp, so he takes 7 from the first attack. Second attack is a 24. Good rolls. Hitting him for another 9. And he's looking wounded. He says, "Oh, gods damn it! Onyx, stop screwing around!" That's it for this guy. Oh, wait, he's got a bite.
Oh.
23 would strike. Biting for... Made a save, so he takes 7 points of damage. And Seth is looking pretty beat up. The Pack Lord is going to try to stab the big frog, which he does, doing 9 slashing.
Oof. My wild shape reverts.
Poyo! Poof. Did you delete Poyo?
Yeah.
So unfortunately that did delete your initiative. Do you remember what it was?
Yeah, I realize. I'm looking through the chat log right now.
I think it was 9?
9? We'll put you at 9. Poyo!
Yeah.
Sure, we'll put you at 9 for now. See if we can figure it out later. Alright, so that was it for the Pack Lord. And you took a little damage on that, right?
Yeah.
Onyx, what are you gonna do?
Well, I heard Seth, but I don't see him because of the tent in between us.
You're just struggling on the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna attempt to take the spear away from this guy.
How are you gonna do that?
Just try to rip it out of... I'm going to try to put both hands on it and then stand up and, like, rip it out of his hands.
Alright, sure. Give me a athletics check, and I'll oppose it with his athletics. That will take an attack action. It's not... I don't think disarming is usually a thing you can do without special training. But
okay. Well, no, that's fine. Cause I'll just go with the original plan. I'll keep trying to take him down, but I'm getting worried hearing Seth calling for help.
Alright.
Is there no one else that can heal in this party? Okay.
I'll try and get him, don't worry. Maybe. We'll see how we go.
11 would not be enough. You would miss with the first attack. And,
oh my god.
So unfortunately, you were still prone, and a 10 would not be enough, and you missed with the second, stabbing at him twice, but to no avail. Anything else?
I'm gonna release the grapple. I can't keep trying to do this. It's not working. I'm gonna release the grapple on him and stand up.
You can stand up without releasing the grapple. There's absolutely nothing about grappling that says you have to be prone while grappling a prone target.
All right, then I will stand up, still grappling him.
Okay. So you stand up, pulling him to his knees.
And I'll just... Are these hunters looking at me still? Looking at us?
They're looking over at Poyo more than you, because they probably still see you as a hunter yourself, so they're not sure if you're a bad guy or a good guy for them.
Right, okay. All right, I guess I won't try anything at this point then. So that's my turn.
Alright, the shaman over here goes. He is still blinded. What's he gonna do? What spells does he have left? He's gonna use Healing Word on himself, actually. Let's go. Healing Word. Oh, he gains 6.
11,
Still looks
10
wounded.
bullets.
Thanks.
So he looks a little bit better. Still looks wounded though. That was his bonus. He's gonna take the dodge action because again he's not sure what's going on, and attempt to get rid of the stupid blindness already. Con save. Rolls a 2 and completely fails. Anvir.
As a bonus action, I will cast Healing Word on Seth, which is, just... I won't let the darkness take you! I don't know, just some corny bullshit.
Thank you, friend. We have to take down these leaders.
I'll do the 2nd level for him.
Alright. So you channel healing energy. Good roll. 4, 8, 11 points. Yep. So he looks better. Still a bit beat up though. Still wounded. Anything else?
Yep. For my action, I'm just going to move up to here, and I will cast Toll the Dead on the Shaman.
Alright, so you point at the shaman back here, who I believe is within 60 feet. Yep.
Yeah.
Just
and that's
barely.
16, because, again, I don't know how to get that staff you gave me.
Alright, so necrotic energy washes over him. And he fails. So he is affected by Toll the Dead, taking 9 points and looking very withered, as the necrotic energy almost is enough to kill him.
Damn it, if only I rolled that little bit higher.
Yep. Anything else?
I might move a little bit so I'm not as close to all these melee combatants.
Alright. The hunter over here yells something, and he's gonna fire twice at Anvir. 20 versus AC.
Ow!
You are struck for the first shot for 3, reducing your speed by 10, and 18 versus AC.
Yes.
So another arrow hits you, doing another 6 points, so 9 points total, and we're reducing your speed by 10.
Does that stack so I have like 20 less speed or?
I don't think so. I think it's just 10.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Oh, good then.
Alright, so yeah, you take another 6, and... which I think is 2, because you had your temp HP, right?
Yeah. So I took no actual damage. I had 13.
Oh, you had 13. Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
So
I had
your
a 13 from a while back.
so your shielding deflects the 2 arrows.
I
Seth
actually don't have the
goes.
shield at the moment.
So
Oh, the shielding of the spell. I know what you mean now. Sorry. I was silly.
yeah. The darkness is kind of keeping the arrows at bay.
I went literal for a second.
So Seth, he's gonna, let's see, how's everything looking? Yeah, I think he's gonna keep trying to take this guy out. So he brings his greatsword to bear, swinging twice once again. No, 9 would not be enough, and 8 would not be enough. He curses. I'll say he moves here for the flank, but still, that's not enough. Ends his turn. The Pack Lord is definitely freaked out by Poyo becoming a frog, so he's going to keep attacking you. 12 versus AC. Alright, so Poyo jumps to the side as he brings his glaive down, but yes, manages to get out of the way, and the Gnoll goes. He is as well going to stab at you. 10 versus AC would be another miss as Poyo once again jumps to the side, back and forth, both of them missing. Otto is going to do another Eldritch Blast. No, wait, he's got a guy next to him. What is he gonna do? Otto.
Shank him.
Yeah, I guess he could shank him with his dagger. So he pulls out his dagger and shanks. Oh yeah, 17 would shank. Shanking for 8 points of damage. And the Gnoll looks wounded now as blood comes from the wound. Otto would end his turn. This guy's sleeping. The hunter here is gonna step forward a bit. He's gonna pull out his bow, or actually he has his bow out because he fired last turn. He's gonna shoot at Otto, taking 2 shots. Otto is struck once for 5, which luckily his temp HP takes all of. Noel is going to fire a shot as well.
I didn't.
Or go ahead.
I didn't roll for Otto.
Yeah, go ahead. Give him some more temp HP.
I think it helped. Yeah.
Anvir, 21 versus AC.
Yep.
Alright, so you are struck for 5 piercing. Eldwin, what are you going to do?
Let's see. Okay. I am going to wrap around to get flanking on this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will start swinging with my Shadow Blade.
Alright, so you have flank as Seth distracts him, and you go in for the attacks. 19 would strike with the first hit for, what is that, 9?
Yep.
9 points of damage. Second attack. 23 would strike again for another 15, and that would wound him. He is bleeding very badly now from his eyes and ears from all the psychic damage, but he is still up. Anything else?
What is this ridiculous line of blank going on?
Line of what?
Line of flanking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Go
know.
on.
I'm gonna go back in to get temp HP,
Okay.
or try to.
Ark, it looks like you appeared over here. Was that an accident?
Sorry?
Yeah, there's 2 orcs.
You may have accidentally pulled your token onto the board over here. I'm assuming that may have been an accident.
Ooh, max roll.
Where?
Over
left
here.
it there. What?
So you can, if you pull from your, like, click and hold, you can pull your character from the journal onto the board, so that might be what happened.
Oh.
So I'll just delete that for now. Alright, so Eldwin, you're all done. The Null Fang goes. He's gonna... What's he gonna do? He is going to... I think he's a little bit upset because you keep shielding, so I think he's going to go for Seth, hoping to lower the number of enemies. So he takes a swing at Seth. 22 strikes with the first hit, doing 9 slashing.
Seth dead.
Ooh.
He strikes at him a second time. Faridaku! 19 would strike again. Well, only 4 on that one. Friends! And he is going to take a bite.
Uh-oh.
22 would strike, doing... Ooh, he would fail his saving throw. He takes 18 and he goes down. That is it for the Null Fang. The Hunter goes.
Oh, Seth's dead. Oh well.
And actually, as he dies, these guys yell in victory. This one is going to rush Eldwin.
Actually,
yeah.
I don't know if this will change anything, but he had emboldening bond.
What would that?
Save.
Oh, for the save?
Save anything.
D4 for the save.
No.
No, that wouldn't have mattered. He didn't roll high enough.
Okay.
All right.
This guy is gonna.
Hassan will take his opportunity attack. Then.
Oh, so Hassan appears. All right, at advantage because he was invisible. 20 would strike. So he does. Ooh, nice hit. 12 force damage. And he's gonna turn around, seeing Hassan now, and bite at him instead.
Hassan is still dodging.
20 versus AC. I think he got him anyway.
Yeah.
So he is bit for, I need a con save.
Is he immune to poison?
What type of...
Oh yeah, is he immune to poison?
He is immune to poison, yeah.
Alright, so he only takes 9 damage. The poison does nothing.
Alright.
This guy here is also going to roar in victory. Gets his reaction, and he's going to attack Eldwin using his bite. 11, I assume, would miss you.
Yeah.
Okay. This guy roars. He's going to run up this way as his reaction and attack Eldwin as well. Glaving you with... nope, 6 would miss. This guy is going to rush up at Eldwin and bite. 19 versus AC.
I'll take the hit.
Alright, so you are bit for 3 piercing. Not the best bite. This guy is going to run up here and bite.
Thanks, Anvir. Ah!
Oh god, they're feral. They're all going feral. They're like, yeah, we actually get to use this ability. This guy here is gonna bite. He's yeah, he bites up at you. He's prone though, so it's a disadvantage. Oh, but he can move. Oh, but no, you're grappling him, so he can't get up yet. So yeah, he bites at disadvantage. 10 would miss you. That guy's sleeping. This guy is going to spend his reaction and bite at Poyo. 21. Poyo, you are bit for 4.
Alrighty.
This guy is going to spend his reaction and bite at Poyo as well. 17. Yep, that would hit you.
Yep.
For another 5.
Alrighty.
And that is all their reactions within 30 feet, I believe. Yep. So the hunter goes. he's here. He's gonna bite at you again, Eldwin. 22 versus AC.
I'll shield.
Oh, alright, so as he goes to bite you that time, you throw up your shield. He's then going to move back, giving you an Oppie if you want to take it.
I can't.
Oh, you use your reaction, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He runs back to here. Poyo.
Alrighty, I would like to use poison spray on this fellow right here. So he must make a Constitution saving throw, 14 or higher. Of course.
So do you just like spit a bunch of poison on him?
Yeah.
All right.
Just bleh.
Yeah.
Just literally spews it.
He rolls a 13.
All right, so he takes 2d12.
So he takes 10 points of poison. Any other effects?
Nope, just poison.
Alright, he is looking wounded from that, as the poison makes him look sickly. The hunter goes. He's going to move back before, because he doesn't want to bite you again. And he's going to fire 2 shots at Eldwin. I think your AC is really high right now, though, right?
It is 24 right now.
Alright, so both shots would deflect off your... I was getting good rolls now. Both shots would deflect off your shielding, luckily. No crits. That's it for him. This guy is going to... He's still grappled and pinned. He's going to try to stab up at you with his spear. 12. So once again, he just can't get past your armor as he continues to stab, but your armor is protecting you. This guy is going to stab Otto, but he would miss. This guy is going to go for Poyo. Crit. Oof. Poyo, you are struck for 14 points of damage. Looking a bit wounded, I believe, right? Alright. Arcadian. So you were able to finish getting the ropes off. You do have your action this turn.
Okay, so I make another athletics check.
No, you just got them off. It just took you the till this turn to get them fully off.
Alright then.
So you are no longer restrained. You do see your weaponry laying up against the tent over here.
Well, seeing as I don't have time, I'm going to grab only one thing, and that is my great axe.
Alright. So...
Am I able to see whatever this thing is over here? I'm guessing that's a knoll. Where this is.
Oh yeah, it's really dark over there, that's right. You can kind of see him. He's pretty heavily obscured in the shadows. But yes, you can barely make him out.
Actually, the entire area is dim light, so he would be able to see, I believe.
Oh yeah, Anvir. Let me put a light radius on Anvir for that dim light.
Yeah.
Anvir, you have so many macros. I think you just froze my computer.
You're welcome.
Oh, no, there it goes. That took a while.
Yeah, I don't know why there's so many.
So that's a 30-foot radius, right?
Yeah.
Alright. How's that?
Oh, also, on Veer speaking of, can I get my temporary hit points?
No.
Damn it.
So Ark, whenever you equip a weapon, we usually use this symbol. It's the 3 swords, kind of, I think it's like 4 or 5 rows down, and if you press 2 all over it, you can mark it as wielding it in both hands. So, like, for your great axe.
Ah, okay. So yeah, before I do anything, I'm going to use my bonus action to enter a rage.
So this guy would turn around and go, Abda! As he sees Arcurian stand up and roar, raging. Do you roar, or what does your rage look like?
Yeah, oh, I am definitely roaring.
Alright. So what do you do? That was your bonus action. Use
Yep.
your item
So-
interaction to grab the axe, and yeah, bonus action to rage.
And I still have my action.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to run up to this guy right here and attack him twice with my great axe. Oh, and another thing, I'm going to use reckless attack to give myself advantage on both.
Alright, so you have flank because of auto giving you +2, and reckless will give you advantage, so go ahead, give me a roll.
It won't add in the +2 when I do
Uh,
the roll, so I'll just add it in myself.
Yeah, you can we'll just manually add it, that's fine.
Yeah. Alright, so that's just turn on advantage. Okay, the first one is a 16.
Yeah, so 16 would definitely strike, catching him off guard. You land a solid hit.
Can we like yell out as we see him attacking, just being like, "We're trying to kill as little as possible, please."
And he's gonna take 7 slashing damage.
Alright, so you cut into him, and he is now bleeding from several wounds. He is still up, but barely.
And now for my second attack.
Alright,
That's
24.
a 26.
Yeah, so that would definitely hit.
That's 18 slashing damage.
Do you want
listen to
a
what I said.
lethal blow, or do you want to knock him out?
I'll knock him out.
Alright, so as you kind of knock him down and you're about to deliver a killing blow to behead him, you kind of spin your axe around and just slam the pommel into his face. A bunch of blood flies everywhere and he falls unconscious. Anything else?
That'll be my turn.
Alright. The Fang over here sees you're up. He's going to roar with... there's a bunch of blood on his face from where he bit Seth. And he is going to go for the bunny, actually, because that bunny hurt.
Okay. Still a disadvantage.
16 versus AC?
Oh, wait. Yeah, that hits.
Alright, so he claws him once for 4 slashing. Does a second attack, 12 versus AC.
Nope.
And he bites at him. 12 versus AC with disadvantage, so that would miss. He's going to step this way and step down this way, moving towards Anvir a bit. That's it for him. The Pack Lord goes. He is going to roar and try to swing at Poyo. Poyo, by the way, you would recognize Arcurdian now that he's closer.
Oh, for sure, but happy reunions can wait until I'm not dying.
Yep.
Yeah, let's save the happy reunion for later. Let's do an angry reunion right now.
Alright, so he's going to step this way to gain the flank. But 10 versus
Sorry,
AC.
coming to hit me.
Yeah, and he's coming for Anvir. But 10 would miss, luckily. Onyx.
All right. I am trying desperately to finish this guy off. So now I should have advantage because I'm standing and he's prone.
Yes.
All right.
So you stab him. 18 would strike the dagger. 3 points. And he looks wounded from that attack.
I can't seem to do any better than minimum damage rolls. All right, one more try.
Minimal is still
Oh, yeah.
damage.
24 would strike. So he
There we
takes
go.
another 5 and looks like he is badly wounded now, but still up.
Okay. I'll move to right here. Can I see Hassan from here?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to give him a verbal command without anyone noticing that it's coming from me? Just kind of like
give me a
without
deception
moving
check.
my lips. All right.
This can only go well for you.
All right, so you kind of try to hide a command as you speak in a weird language. What do you tell him to do?
I tell him to attack.
Okay, and I'm assuming he's attacking for the end of
He's
your
gonna
turn.
attack. Yeah, he's gonna using my bonus action. He'll attack the fang.
All right, so he attempts to blast the fang with force damage. Oh yeah, he does. So 11 would explode his head, and he just twitches a bunch and falls over dead. This
Good.
guy roars.
That was one of the
angrily.
ones we did work with.
Anything else?
That was one of the ones that we did want to kill.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the.
Okay, good.
leadership.
Good, good.
The
Those
shaman,
two and the shaman.
shaman goes. He's still shaking his head, trying to clear his vision. He is going to. What's he gonna do? No, he's gonna. He can't really
There's
see
two orcs,
Anvir
good.
very well. There's two what?
Can't
Oh,
see
yeah.
anything.
It looks like Ark appeared over here again for some reason. What's going on with that? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't even see him in the compendium.
Oh well, yeah, he's. I haven't revealed his guy yet. but,
True.
so this guy, oh man, I think he's gonna. I think he's going to just try to cast Sacred.
You need to see the target.
Yeah, he would need to see him. I think he's gonna do another healing word. So he does a bonus action to heal himself for 5. Then he's gonna take the dodge action again and try to clear this blindness with another save. 19. Oh, he made it. He shakes his head and he can see again, and he does not like what he sees. Alright, so that's it for him. Anvir, what are you gonna do?
Bonus action, spiritual weapon. Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah, 24 would strike this guy. As he forgets about it for a moment and you slap
7.
him for 7. You might want to set up a macro where it doesn't use a spell slot every time you
Yeah,
click
just
it.
saw that.
Yeah, you might just need to make a new macro for spiritual weapon attack. But anyway, he takes 7. He's looking very wounded, but he's still up. This guy over here sees Ark is free, and he is going to. Oh wait, he's unconscious. Never mind. He's gonna lay there unconscious. Seth is unfortunately dead.
You're gonna start snoring.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is going to use his reaction to.
Is Seth making saving throws, or is he just dead?
No, he's just
because he's
dead.
an NPC.
Yeah.
Ah.
This guy, actually, he can't make the other guy rampage because he used his reaction, I think.
Actually, based on how many spell slots I have, I think I did do spiritual weapon at 4th level. Because I only used a 2nd level. Wait, hold on, I'm looking now.
Alright, he's
I
just
think
going to
you did.
attack. Eldwin, no, 16 would miss you.
Oh well.
So this guy is going to see Ark is free, and he's actually going to run over and attack. Poyo, do you have a Oppie you can do?
I think we have more technical issues.
Alright, well, you can get back to me on that.
I could not fit, but that's it.
Stabby! So he runs up at you, Ark, and stabs with his spear. Ooh, crit. 7 damage, but luckily you were raging, so you only take 3. It's
Yeah.
not the best crit. Otto is going to say, "Ooh, thanks for the help." And he's going to stab this guy. Oh, wait, no, he's unconscious already. He's going to stab this guy who just stabbed you. Woohoo! Oh, well, no, he's not.
Well, then.
So this guy is asleep. The hunter is going to take a shot at Ark. 2 shots. What's your AC right now?
16.
16, that's without the armor? Oh, yeah, because you're a barbarian, right? Unarmored
Yeah.
defense. Alright, so the 2 shots come at you. Oh, but he has advantage, doesn't he? Because you were recklessing.
Yeah, I used reckless attack.
Alright, so you are struck by one of the arrows for 10, which reduces to 5. Ending his turn. This guy here is going to fire at the bunny, I think.
Otto gets 13, by the way. I forgot to roll.
Woohoo, I got
Yeah,
13.
The bunny is not dodging anymore.
Oh, damn, I didn't give Parson any. Oh, he can get him next turn.
Pew. But luckily that guy does not fire very well, and it would just fly past the rock over here. Eldwin, what are you going to do?
Alright, I'm going to slice at this cold.
I just registered I never did my action.
Huh?
Whoops.
We just kind of went past my action.
What did you do for your turn?
I just did the spiritual weapon
Oh.
attack, and then we just kind of went forward.
Okay, well, I'll go back to you in a sec. Go ahead, Eldwin. We'll finish your turn out.
Okay.
Yeah, 23 strikes. Who are you slashing at?
This guy.
Alright, so 15 would be enough as he just bleeds out his eyes and goes down.
Alright. In that case... I will... On. Yeah. In that case, I will take an opportunity attack, and I will move.
Alright, he spends his reaction and cuts at you as you move. 18 versus AC?
Miss.
Alright, so you dance out of the way. Luckily, you still have your blade song going.
I will use my.
Yeah.
I'll use my second attack to throw the blade at the shaman.
Alright. So the blade flies through the air. Huh. Yes, 18 would strike. Wow, good hit. Hits
A lot
him
of damage.
right between the
Max
eyes.
damage.
Ah! And he goes
Almost
down.
max damage.
At this point...
Then I'll-
Here, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying for my bonus action, I'd recall the blade.
Alright, so at this point, as Dosha is yelling, you would see the gnolls start to kind of go a little bit passive as they kind of back off and start putting their weapons down. It appears that with the death of the ruling gnolls, the clan is willing to give up. Do you want to keep fighting, or are you going to accept their surrender?
Yes, accept their surrender.
Is the shaman... Okay, the shaman.
Yeah, the shaman's dead. The three of them are...
Great,
we got
great,
three
great.
there.
They
With
are
only one
dead.
civilian casualty. Well, 2 if you count Seth.
So I guess really quick, now that things have calmed down, why don't we do some descriptions? As Ark, are you? I assume you're gonna also stop attacking as you see the gnoll surrender.
Yeah,
Okay, so you kind
what you
of
can see is, yeah, Arcuridian goes from, in a few seconds, to just raging mad to calming down, like,
so yeah, he kind of backs off a bit and kind of maybe puts his shield or his sword down lowers his sword, breathing hard. So Poyo, you actually recognize Ark, and I think Ark recognizes you as you two have met briefly in the past, right? Oh, is he still having issues? All right, we'll get back to him. Eldwin, what would you look like to Ark?
With Elwin, you would see a young human, like early 20s, brown haired, it's dressed in leathers of green and gold. He has a scar over his left eye, and you see he's got a couple blades on his belt. One of which looks incredibly intricate and fancy. Way too expensive for any adventure in this area.
Okay.
By the way, I'm here now, so I can do my description real quick.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so Poyo, Poyo's form is very amorphous, to say the least. Like, from their torso, it's very smooth, like a jelly, with very pleasant blues, purples, pinks, and such. Though their hair, well, what looks like hair, is just a bundle of crystals kind of spiraling upwards. And they wear a very simplistic wooden mask on their face. It's possibly from some kind of worship. And as for what they wear, they have what old raggedy armor that they may have scavenged and found around. Nothing that really, is supposed to be together specifically. Like, it looks mismatched, like a kid wearing two different pairs of socks, like a black and a white one. And their limbs, both mainly the hands and the legs, both seem to be wooden entirely.
What about Onvir?
Onvir is a quite young-looking elf, but also quite sloppy-looking for an elf. Like, he's got a bit of, like, 5 o'clock shadow and stuff like that. He's got half black, pitch black hair, and half of it is a deep purple color.
Now,
And,
go ahead. Now, does he have any holy symbols?
he would be wearing a dark, like, opal that's almost slightly star-shaped with a slight purple tint to it.
Ark,
Not
do you
opal, but
have
it's dark, like stone.
do you have religion, Ark? Like trained?
I'm not proficient with religion, no.
Okay, so you probably wouldn't recognize that then. But yeah, you would know. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. The closest thing Ark would know about religion is what he knew from his past.
Yeah, so the symbol might look somewhat familiar, as you may have seen it around the caves, but you can't place what exactly it's for. What about Onyx? What would you look like as you kind of get up from this this knoll?
So, I look like a knoll, about 6.5, maybe 7 feet tall. Look exactly like this knoll.
Yeah. Do you keep your disguise
I come
up?
over. Well, I mean, I'll come over and introduce myself to him, and I will change what I look like.
So it would be very surreal as this kind of drooling gnoll walks up to you and starts talking with a completely normal voice, even though he just looks like a weird drooling gnoll.
So,
and I'll change. Sorry.
I was just gonna say Arcadian looks very confused for a little bit.
Yeah, and so as you're looking at him, like, he gets a little shorter, changes, and looks exactly like you. Says, "Hello, my name's Onyx," and then just starts laughing, and then changes into a human that's about 5'10", got red hair, pale skin. He's wearing like a duster jacket, a long duster jacket, with a breastplate underneath it, and
he's got the he's got the goggles, right? Too.
yeah, he's wearing goggles on his head. Like they're not covering his eyes at the moment. I don't think.
Yeah. Very curious outfit.
Yep. And he's pretty nondescript looking, other than the red hair. So, and he just kind of gives. I give you a wink. Say sorry to mess with you there a little bit. I'm enjoying this new spell. And then he changes back into a gnoll and walks away.
All right. So he shapeshifts again. Dosha is yelling at all the
keep it up as
gnolls.
long as I can.
They're sort of getting into like a line, putting their weapons down. He kind of looks over Seth, and he'll kind of kneel down over him and give him some sort of, it sounds like some sort of prayer, maybe some kind of gnollish chant. And he says, "You fought well, brother in arms. You will not be forgotten."
I'll,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'll go and pick up his. I guess we don't want to leave the sword behind. It was a holy artifact, after all.
Give me a persuasion check,
For who?
Dosha.
Oh,
See how he takes that.
fair enough. Oh, very badly. He doesn't take it well.
So he seems conflicted. He says, "A warrior should be buried with his weapon."
This one does think, though.
I do not.
Wouldn't that...
I do not lead your group. The decision is yours. And he just
I
kind
get
of
where you're-
walks away.
I get where you're coming from, there.
He seems a little distraught, but he just sort of drops it.
To be fair, wouldn't that technically be like burying someone alive with this sentient sword?
You're not sure what the morality of sentient weapons goes to. I mean, sentient weapons do exist for, hundreds of years sometimes, and just don't talk. But yeah, you're not sure if sentient weapons go mad. You probably don't have enough. You probably don't have enough Arcana knowledge to know that.
Definitely not.
So actually, another thing, you did defeat, I think, all of the leadership without any deaths, right?
One.
Oh, there was one? Okay.
One got caught up in the fireball.
That's right. Yeah, the fireball. Okay. I was going to say, anyway, okay, so what does the group want to do?
First things first, was it religious or arcana knowledge to get the withering essence?
That is religious, because they're undead. So Dosha is talking to the tribe right now, and they're kind of exchanging words back and forth.
I would start collecting some of these religious components. I don't know if anyone can help me with that.
So Dosha...
Otto probably could.
So Dosha sort of walks over to you as well, Ark. He says, "You were a prisoner of the tribe, yes?"
Correct.
Are you from around these caves? How did they capture you? You can tell his comment is a bit imperfect. Like he's struggling with it a little.
Just completely ignore the new guy. I just realized, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are all like, "I'm going to search the bodies, I'm going to get the essence," and Dosha's like, "Maybe we should talk to this new guy."
Nah, screw him!
I introduced myself to him.
That's true,
Sure.
you did. Yeah.
But I'm really not very. I'm kind of an antisocial person.
That's true. Onyx is kind of a
when I'm
nerd.
sober. When I'm sober.
Yeah.
Oh god. Did you want to take the light off me?
Oh, yeah, sure, sorry. So yeah, what are you going to say, Ark?
It is a long story, one that I will share in a moment. But for the time being, I believe I should recover my equipment. and he would kind of turn around and walk back over to the tent. Presumably his stuff is still there.
Yes, it was kind of being kept off to the side. Dosha would nod and say, "Of course, we owe you for helping us in the fight. Thank you."
You are welcome.
So yeah, he goes back to yelling at these guys, or at least maybe not yelling, but talking to them. So yeah, so the group is kind of doing a couple of after battle things like collecting essence and trying to rest, maybe.
I don't know if anyone needs a rest. I'm not too bad for now. If anyone wants one, we can.
I mean, a couple of people took some hits, like Eldwin and Poyo.
That's true.
Poyo's charmed. This is the half health one, Poyo. Or I think he's still having trouble with his headset. But
I don't think it's going to stop today.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, Poyo looks a little bit beat up, maybe like he's melting a bit. His slime form is a little dissolved.
Yes. We'll take a quick short rest, I guess.
I think
I'm back.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Here, I'll help a little bit, Poyo.
Well,
All right. So, Onyx, I'm not sure how you're healing Poyo since he's a slime, but we'll say you take out your med kit, rub some salves on him or something, because you have to use.
I basically I wrap bandages around him and hope that it holds the slime in.
I like to imagine there's
take
just little
them together.
pieces of like Poyo's like gelatin form lying around. He's literally just picking it up and like shoving it back on.
I mean, you do have a healer's kit. You use that when you do the thing, so maybe you apply a bunch of salves to him, and that helps.
Just absorbs into the jelly.
Yeah. So you managed to recover about 20 gold pieces worth of Witherling essence.
Huh? Oh, I haven't done the roll for it yet. Do I not need to,
there's
or do I
no
have to-
roll anymore. You just need
Okay, cool.
training.
I'll give that auto to Onyx to carry in the thing. How many did you say? 25?
20.
Just 20.
20.
I'm just trying
Okay.
to up it by 5 there. I see what you did.
No, I just genuinely heard the 20 and didn't remember.
All right.
It's the story I'm sticking with.
All right. So yeah, Ark, you recover the rest of your gear from the tent, getting your stuff together. Yeah. So I'm guessing you probably encountered Poyo for a short amount of time while you were moving through these caves. I think, did you two kind of talk about how your backstory was linked a little, or had you not really discussed it?
I don't think we really discussed it too much.
Alright, so most likely, since Poyo is pretty young as a sentient being, how long have you existed with sentience, Poyo?
I would say a decent while. Like, I wouldn't say 11 days. It's more like a couple weeks,
Okay.
maybe.
So,
Like 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah, while you were in the forest, trying to, I guess, find your way through this place, maybe we'll say you encountered him and you two spoke a bit, but I'm guessing you were trying to pass through, so you probably didn't stay long.
I think me and him actually did have one idea. Was
Okay.
that Poyo had heard of a wandering dragon, and heavy air quotes, in the area, and wanted to fight it to prove his might. And
okay.
to realize that it wasn't a dragon, more like a dragonborn.
So you maybe heard of it through your clan that you had freed?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe they had encountered him. But did you ever actually meet him then? Before this?
Yeah. After the initial trying to just sneak attack, I imagine they would talk.
Because he actually did speak a language you spoke? Was that what you said?
Telepath.
Oh, because Ark can do telepathy, yeah. Alright. Alright, so yeah, maybe you spoke a little and you decided you didn't want to fight him since he wasn't, I guess, hostile towards you.
Or causing trouble.
You're just causing trouble, yeah. Alright, so yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that to anyone in the group, or if Ark says anything, but yeah, you two have seen each other and spoken before.
Does Poyo seem like excited to see the Dragonborn as well?
I would say yes, and he's kind of like getting into a little bit of a crouch, like doing a little sneaky sneak towards Ark. Assuming that Poyo can still see him, like he's not inside the tent.
No, his stuff was, it was near the tent, but he was able to just grab it.
Poyo is gonna, like, get a running start and try to just, like, full force tackle him from behind, and yell, Poyo! Which, in telepathy and Celestial, would translate to sneak attack.
Alright, so yeah, you would see Poyo run at this new Dragonborn and just try to tackle him to the ground. Of course, not being very effective, as he's probably only 3 feet tall, so.
Yeah, and I'm almost 7 feet tall and weigh like 300 pounds.
Yeah, so a little slime just splats against your leg. Poyo!
Ah.
Oh, do you know each other, do you?
We've met before.
Poyo! I tried to fight him.
You tried to fight him. I can't imagine that went great for you.
It really did.
So, Ark, Poyo, you're speaking in Infernal, right?
Celestial.
Or Celestial. And Ark, do you speak Celestial?
I do not speak Celestial, but I can make do with telepathy, I think.
Alright, so yeah, you would hear him say Poyo, then him and Anvir start talking in this weird, Latin-like language to each other. But you've probably never heard Poyo speaking before.
Likely not.
Savanne, cochonabanda, tu cochono.
Saveri. I don't know. some weird Latin or something.
Where's my spaghetti? God, we just went real. I took that weird.
Alright.
I apologize for that.
That's fine. So yeah, they're going back and forth, speaking in this strange language. So yeah, what does everyone want to do?
Poyo is definitely going to try to take a short rest, if possible.
Alright. So we passing some time?
Yeah, I guess. For now, let Dosha handle the negotiations since none of us can bloody speak.
Alright, so yeah, Dosha would tell the group that the tribe has agreed to surrender, and he says he told them about your allies, what are their names?
Longspear.
The Longspear. Which I'll switch back to the big map for now since we're done with the battle. So the group is now in the Sharp Rock camp up here. Yeah, and he says they, as well as the Longspear, they are unhappy with the cultists, and they have agreed to help us as long as we don't ask them to act directly against the Inagu. They want to know if that is acceptable.
What help can they provide then? What help can they offer?
So he turns to them and starts speaking Nolish. He says they are fine with offering us food and lodging and anything we need in terms of information and guidance within these caves. I believe that if we ask and we have enough of a following, they would probably be willing to fight against the enemy. It's just not guaranteed. They seem to be wary about attacking the Nagu cultists directly, just because of their numbers.
I understand that.
Otto has just appeared out of nowhere.
Woohoo! Hey, Otto.
Poof!
I had you
I mean, you
stabbing people and shooting eldritch blasts.
Fantastic. I'm sure he was hooting the whole time.
He was actually.
He actually was, yes.
He did it more than you do, I think.
Because there's basically no other personality trait here to emulate, so Lou ran with it.
Yep, I did the hoo.
It was magical.
Also, why is your name in question marks?
That was because I did not think I would be able to join tonight, and the game tomorrow night I have not been revealed. So
Oh, right, because for your tomorrow game. Gotcha. I was confused. For a moment, I was like, "Wait, did she just join the Wednesday game?" No, she's been in this game for a while. It's my old age catching up with me. And this is our new player, Ark.
Hello.
Hello. Sorry for being late tonight, but may the fourth be with you. There were priorities.
And if you really like Revenge,
Oh my
May the
god.
4th, then you're gonna love Revenge of the 5th.
No, my husband's much
I-
more into Revenge of the Fifth. He's the Sith, not me.
I forgot that today was Star Wars Day. Oh my god.
And tomorrow is sequel for Star Wars Day. or
I
prequel,
have
rather.
just doffed my Leia attire.
All right. Well, why don't we take a quick 5-minute break since we're a little bit more than halfway through anyway. We could do a stretch and bathroom, and if any of you need to do anything with your sheets, I'll be back.
Odo can give a quick description when we get back as well.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right. So 5 minutes, and we'll return.
So how you enjoying the group so far, her Arc?
I'm much enjoying it. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Just wait till we have to make a decision.
It'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair,
yeah.
we left him tied to a stake for like 3 rounds of
I
combat.
really thought someone would run over and help you, and everyone's just like, we're all.
I
we're
was
all
I
very
don't
busy.
carry a weapon. What was I gonna do?
I don't know. I thought
Yeah.
someone would
The
do
longest
something.
range thing I have is 10
Of course.
feet. for
Odo
damage.
would have been the best one to do it, and you would have gone.
Of course, there's no need to worry because Arcadian is jacked.
Yeah.
He is wool.
Yes.
I'm just gonna grab a drink from that quickly.
Honestly, if that combat went much longer, I was 100% tempted to turn Hassan into an Ankylosaurus.
Yeah.
Are those the little ankle biter dinosaurs? I think.
No, that's the big tail. It was either that or a giant scorpion.
Giant scorpions are fun.
Yeah, it's like 1 big hit or 3 medium hits.
But yeah, that combat made me realize something very detrimental. I had completely forgotten to, prepare a couple of damaging spells.
Oh,
The closest thing I had to damage was I forget what it's called, but it's where you do like a 20-foot radius of just spikes. And when you walk through them, you take damage or something.
oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's not my bad.
Well, we'll probably be taking a long rest soon.
Yeah.
Do you not have
Soon
a
I shall have Moonbeam. That what?
Do you not have a damage cantrip?
I do. It's poison spray.
One of the best
chose-
and worst cantrips at the same time.
I assumed that when I would need it, I would probably be in such close range anyway. So I thought, 2d12 damage, that sounds good.
Problem is with it, right? Is it's like 10 foot, 15 foot, some bullshit like that. It's not much.
Is it
The range
on
of it.
save as well?
It's con save and it's poison.
Yeah.
The most heavily resistant, like, I think the only thing more resistant than fire is poison.
Poison is the
Yeah.
most resistant. And I think has the most immunities against it.
Yeah.
Plus, we're getting to levels where everything has a good con modifier unless it's slinging spells.
And even
Yeah.
then,
But yep, I'm definitely getting a couple things like Flaming Sphere and Moonbeam. Those are gonna be so good.
I made a realization during that combat, which is I can't actually use my shield at the moment with the staff.
I get you.
And it's like, shit. So now my AC is too low.
Only if you're wielding the staff two-handed.
But I have a shield. Is the thing I was saying.
Yeah, it would have
I
to
can't
be
do it with the shield.
You'd have to have Warcaster.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. But like, is the staff just a normal staff, or is it your focus or something?
It's the one we got off the shaman that gives me +1 to attacks and saves.
Oh, okay.
DC
But
save.
does it say like, well, like I know like Moonsicle, there's certain items that'll say that you can use them as your focus. So if it doesn't say that,
I'll
then
have to double check with Lou because it was a custom item, so there's no actual thing for it.
touche.
I believe with paladins, they can have an emblem as their focus, and then apply that to a shield.
Yeah.
I could be
True.
wrong though.
Yeah, I'll have to
Or a
ask.
breath. Yeah, you can put it on your armor or whatever. Yeah.
So the staff is an arcane focus.
Oh yeah, so I would be able to use that with my shield without Warcaster.
Well, you
Oh.
could use it. I think you still, for spellcasting, unless you have Warcaster, you still need a free hand, don't you?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, to do somatic components, you do.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you can do somatic components with like the spellcasting focus though.
The way you've described it to me and other groups, Lou, is that if you're holding your focus, that is your somatic component.
No, that's
and that
material,
you
I
could-
believe.
No, well,
no, material is like
so
you have a component pouch or.
you-
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe not.
you need one free hand, which can be used for both gesturing and your component pouch.
Oh, and I'm looking this up now.
Well, then I need to revise how I've been playing two of my characters for the past 2 years.
Well, if the focus is taking the place of the component pouch, then the free hand could be holding the focus and do the somatic component, as I understand.
Yeah,
That's how I understood it too.
I would have to look it up again, but yeah, so as long as you're you can't use it as a holy symbol, but yeah, I think you can use it for your arcane casting.
Yeah, that's the other issue. The staff is not doesn't count as a holy symbol. It counts as an arcane.
Yeah, and there are some spells that actually do require a holy symbol.
From what I'm reading, it says here that it says yes, but it's stupidly weird with the rules as it's written because it would only work as long as it requires material components.
Also, your channel divinity, I believe, requires a holy symbol.
Yeah. So I think I would need to get Warcaster to be able to use it with a shield.
Yeah. The Warcaster is nice to have anyway, just because
Yeah.
advantage on concentration checks and the ability to use, I believe, a cantrip as your opportunity attack.
Any spell.
Oh, any spell? I thought it was just cantrips.
No,
Any
any
spell that targets a single person, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
the,
got
that's
you.
the
That's
other-
far better.
All right. Well, are we ready to get
Yeah, it's
back
good.
to it?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah, so for now, Envia just has his shield just kind of securely strapped to his back and it's just carrying the staff.
So we're
The good
still
old Legend
alive?
of Zelda.
Yes, the battle just ended.
Seth isn't!
Oh, Seth died.
What?
Yeah.
No,
Died.
did we kill Seth?
Yeah.
No, well, we didn't kill him on
Oh, no.
purpose.
Oh yeah, right. When I picked up the sword, I didn't get any weird voices in my head, did it?
No, it did not seem to speak to you.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Although you remember Seth saying something like he had to attune to it for it to speak to him.
Oh, so tomorrow you'll be crazy. For now, you're good.
Yeah.
No, I'm not attuning to it, it's a great sword.
It's true. That'd be a two-hander. That'd
Well,
be
in that
like,
case, Otto definitely is not attuned.
that would be no focus or shield, so then you'd just be in trouble. He couldn't cast anything.
Just the worst fighter ever.
Yeah.
Be like, so that would go to what? Onyx or Arc?
I mean, I could
yeah, it's
use
up to the
it,
group.
but
So actually, time
But,
is passing. Give me a d20 roll. I'll see if anything happens while you're trying to take a short rest.
Before we actually do the short rest, I would do my harness divine. Oh, no, yeah, harness divine power.
Okay.
Is it accurate that nobody has used any of my resources, or should I assume that's not
Yeah,
that
we didn't
is
cost any
accurate. I
spells.
was just blasting Eldritch Blasts, so
Okay, perfect.
yeah.
All right.
That's how I play your characters. I just press. I was like, I couldn't figure out half your macros, so I just had to.
Well, if you,
I was just like, just Eldritch Blast. This is easiest. Pew 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 pew.
I mean, my macros are like, okay, they're named for what they cast. The end.
Yeah.
That's
So I was.
They're really tough.
I was stabbing. Well, some of them were just giving me descriptions, so I just stabbed and blasted. I was like, that's fine. So she was still useful. But
Excellent.
so yeah, give me a d20 roll during the short rest. Let's see if it passes successfully.
Well, Ark, you want to do the honors?
Is there a character sheet for Ark? Not like that I should see the whole sheet, but I just don't see him at all.
Yeah,
I wanted to look at his portrait.
Let me reveal him now that you all can see him.
Oh yeah, did you want to tell him what you look like?
Yeah, sure. Why don't you give him a description of Otto?
Otto's a kind of a gnomish. He's a very scrawny gnome, a little bit gangly and bony. He's like maybe 3 feet tall, probably about 40 pounds. He seems older, maybe past his middle years, gray and white wisps of hair, and he's got brown skin. His eyes actually kind of sort of change depending on the angle and the light. Sometimes they seem brown, but other times they're more like amber or yellow or things in between. And he wears pretty simple clothing, like gear of like linens, wools, leathers, like an embroidered cowl, leather moccasins, a canvas messenger bag is his backpack. He's got little daggers like sheathed at his belt. He does have like a little buckler strapped to his right arm, which indicates that he's left-handed. And on his left wrist is probably the most ornate thing you see on him. It's like a cuff that's etched with a very ornate design, and he does have a ring on one of his fingers that has like a reddish brown stone. Also, there's is there any reason that Ramti would not be out, guys? I can't remember. Is Ramti out?
They're dead.
Yeah, Ramti blew up.
Oh, Ramti's dead.
You
All right, so
got
that's all you
fireballed.
see right now. That's all you see for Otto right now. Oh, there's Arcadian. Okay,
Quite a
he looks
charming-
tough. I'm gonna cower behind Arcadian from now on.
Need someone large.
Funny gnome man.
Arcadian is
Also,
probably the biggest dude here.
I moved Ark to the player character folder in the journal now, so you'll find
I see him.
in
He
there.
popped up. Yeah, perfect.
Alright,
Go ahead,
So-
describe yourself.
Alright, so yeah, Arcadian is a very bulky, very tall individual. He does not have hair. Instead of skin, he has scales, green shimmering scales, much like a gemstone. Haha, funny. And he has blue eyes as well, like glowing blue eyes. Or not glowing, more like, I guess, glittering as well. He's not old by any means. He's very obviously quite young, especially for a Dragonborn. But he is pretty muscular. Like wide shoulders, strong arms, the whole shebang. If you need muscle, this is definitely the guy.
And
And in addition to being tall, muscular, and broad, he's also... Well, yeah, he's tall. He's really, really tall. Almost 7 feet, actually.
Nice.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was not tall. That guy's short.
He's pretty short. He's like
Like-
5'8" or something.
Yeah, he's very
Couple
short.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You think he's
Besides the point. Let him finish.
he's TV. He's TV tall, Arnold, but he's actually very short.
Arnold is apparently. It says Arnold is 6'2".
Is he?
Wait, what?
Oh,
Wait,
so
I
he's
thought-
taller than me,
I
and
looked- I
therefore
looked it up on Google.
I'm fine with it.
Weird. I thought he was tall. I mean, I'm 6'6", so he's shorter than me. But yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah,
6'6".
yeah, I'm a big guy.
At
Yeah.
that point, you're taller than everyone.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm like-
I know.
I'm like,
Everyone's
I know
short to you.
I know at least a dozen people that are taller than him, but still, he's not. I'm shorter, so to me, he's a normal human.
wait,
Taller than me.
are we talking about Ark or me?
You.
I'm talking.
I meant like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Meanwhile, Arcadian is 6'11" and weighs
Nice.
15 pounds.
And he has a
And he's
very
lizard
large
or
sword
dragon?
or axe,
Lizard
right?
folk or dragon kid.
Yeah. Well, he's dressed in nothing special. Nothing special by any means. Very simple fur waist cloth. He's wearing some fur gauntlets that cover his palms but not his fingers, so fingerless gloves. And he's also dressed in like a very simple leather bandolier, more like a strip going around his chest from shoulder to side. And he's also wearing a pretty big fur cloak. It's equally simple, if not maybe a bit primitive, but it gets the job done. He's
So he
a
does
man
not
of
appear.
luxury.
Sorry.
I was just saying he's not a man of luxury by any means.
So he's not appeared to be armored per se. Like he's got gear, but not like armor.
He does not have proper armor, but he does make up for it
Interesting.
for having very, very tough skin. Or
Gotcha.
scales, rather.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, that makes sense. In my head, I was trying to guess what class you are, but since you have
Yeah.
the natural armor, you could be really
Dragon
anything you
Ball
want to be.
And
Yeah.
this
They don't.
this might be the first time any of you have seen a dragonborn, because they are
Oh,
extremely
okay,
rare.
cool.
You may have seen lizard folk before, but lizard folk definitely would look different from a dragonborn. So anyway, as your kind of time's passing, you all are talking a bit. You would hear the front gate of the town opening.
Did we ever do the D20 roll? I don't think we did.
We did not do the D20 roll, but it's been about 30 minutes, and you would see as it opens, the guards and the hunters from before are coming back in with their families.
Oh, nice.
Dosha would speak to him, and he nods, looking around. He seems a little bit sad that one of the hunters got burned in a fireball, but he's happy that you were able to defeat the leadership. Dosha says he thanks you all for what you've done for the Sharp Rock. He says we
And
should
who's-
hide the bodies.
The dude that wanted control, is he in the group that returns?
Yes,
Yeah, he's the guy
he's the one who's
spoken to Dosha.
talking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he's going to have his people start hiding the bodies. And I need that D20 roll from someone.
And by hiding, I hope we
I could-
mean
I
like
could roll the D20 roll.
interring.
Yeah, probably
I'm
dragging
cleaning
around to the field somewhere.
prestidigitation. Good old prestidigitation.
Cleaning up the crime scene.
Like I always do.
I'll roll that d20, so no modifiers?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
just-
D20 roll.
Just to roll to
Just
see if
count
an event happens. No, so the hour would pass without issue. It's now about 11:30. Go ahead and spend... did I tell you guys now that you're tracking your short rests? So
I don't think so.
Make sure you... So, I was doing it as a group, but since people don't always want to use their short rest, I've started just letting people spend short rests when they want to spend hit dice and gain back their abilities and such. So just make sure you have 3 of 3, and you would spend 1 right now if you want to use hit dice or gain back your abilities, so you go down to 2. And those refresh at the end of a long rest. But yeah, so you can spend a short rest to heal up with hit dice as well as gain back abilities at this point. Because you have 1 per point of proficiency modifier, which is, I believe, 3 at this level, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So it's 11:30. The camp is looking better. A bunch of the kind of non-combatants, the children, the farmers, are coming back, and they've been hiding the bodies and cleaning the place up. The leader. One second, or one moment. The leader hunter, who you said you'd put in charge, he would speak to Dosha, and Dosha says he wanted to thank you all again and tell you his name is Flogroll. Flogroll Borgu. And he is going to take over the tribe. And he wanted to know how he could help your group.
How eloquent. A beautiful name.
10 out of 10.
Well, I think for now it's just going to be on keep going and make sure the cultists don't find out that we're around liberating people. And then if the time eventually comes, we might want to do a big uprising with all the allies we've managed to secure.
So our recommendation then is to stay low, lay low, play along until they hear from us or see some big sign of uprising.
Dosha translates this, and he speaks back.
That was me. My words were kind of to the rest of the group to kind of affirm before it gets translated. But I assume
okay.
that's what we're going for. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then yes, go ahead, Dosha.
So Dosha would translate. The leader speaks back. Dosha nods. He says, "If we are going to head south through the mushroom forest, we must be cautious, as there are giants within, and they do attack and kill anything they find for food." He kind of points outside to the south down here. And he says, if you move along the edges of the forest, though, there is a cave, and through the cave you will reach the Deep Fang on the other side. A different tribe, though more loyal to the cultists than we were.
And what about the prison? That's through the forest?
So he talks to Flogroll, who gets a look of worry when you mention the prison, and would speak back in Nolish. He says that the prison is to the south. There are several ways to reach it, but it is filled with some of the cultists' most dangerous people. And he would recommend, if we go there, to be extremely cautious. But there are 3 ways to get there, all of which are dangerous. One way is to the southwest, through the armies there. We would probably have to sneak past. Another way is to the east. We'd have to sneak past the Deep Fang and again sneak past an army to the south. And the final way is through the forest, directly south of us, the one that he was just talking about. But the giants will kill anything that enters there. There's no gnolls there to worry about. As far as what I'm being told, yes. They
I look to Poyo.
Smack and eat anything they find.
What about Poyo?
She's just
made friends with one of these giants.
I did not say anything. I just looked to you when he said that the giants will kill anything they encounter.
Poyo is currently sitting on the ground stacking rocks.
Making little cairns.
Little rock power.
Dosha says, "Oh yes, that's true. Poyo befriended one of them."
Poyo?
We're talking about your Your giant friend, remember? From the forest?
Oh, the giant. Him. He is a good friend.
Yeah, how did you become friends with him?
I offered him food.
What kind of food?
Now that I think about it, I don't think that was food. It was shroomwood and he just drills off.
Well, apparently he made friends with it using a food offering, so...
Maybe the giant. Ooh, maybe the giant. I recognized Poyo's distress and had a maternal instinct. Perhaps the giant was a she and took care of Poyo as if he was a babe of her own. If Poyo had shroomwood only to eat, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going. I don't know where I'm going with this. It kind of sounds like Poyo was a little bit like out of his depths, and suddenly this giant showed up and was like, "Oh, let me feed you."
So, Flogral begins talking again, and Dosha would translate that as far as the tribes know, the giants are they are not something that can be reasoned with. The gnolls have had no luck engaging them other than trying to fight them back. The good thing is they don't seem to leave the forests.
Oh, well, in that case, that's easy.
But again, if we wish to go through the forest, we will probably have to engage them.
Or provide gifts. Anything useful to them.
Well, you all will have to decide which way you want to go. But
We should probably rest before, like, fully rest before we go anywhere that might be too intensive.
We just rested, no?
I think
Yeah,
you're
short
gonna-
rest. Short rest.
I mean, waiting till the next day. for that.
No, you're fine. I was asking, I have temporary hit points. Would that have reset on the short rest, or do I wait till
I think
long
those are
on
only
that?
on long rests.
Yeah, those
Oh,
stay
perfect. I
until-
have some fantastic temp HP then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna max roll for you.
so how do you plan? Is your plan to go to the prison then? Dosha says.
Ooh, this prison sounds like it has some friends of ours. Ooh, if they are
Did we-
against the cultists.
Did we ever ask this fellow if he knew about where Garrow was?
I don't know.
Dosha turns to him and says something, and then the guy just shakes his head. He doesn't recognize this person.
Hey Lou, how many short rests per day did you say?
Proficiency modifier.
Yeah, it's 1 per
Oh, okay.
proficiency, which is 3 at this
Oh,
level.
so for now it's 3, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right, I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to expend one of mine, and I pretend that I summoned Rumsey during that rest.
Okay. So Dosha sort of begins talking to the leader again. As they continue to talk, he says, it sounds like the two other tribes, while loyal, do have some dissonance. You may have luck speaking with them, but it would be dangerous to do so. If you're heading to the prison, there's no real easy way to get there. Either way, through the forest or past the Gnoll armies. The Gnoll armies would probably require stealth, he says, as I doubt you're going to want to take on a whole army of Gnoll cultists. There could be hundreds.
Maybe we
Remind.
keep... Oop.
Go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to ask you to remind me if there were other tribes. I know there's other tribes nearby that are we've been told are especially loyal to the cult.
Yeah, that's
that
what we're
doesn't mean
talking about. These two.
that doesn't mean that there aren't sympathizers within those tribes that might help us. But in general, are there any other tribes nearby that might be easier, more like that we should recruit first, that are more inclined toward our side?
There is the Deep Fang, which is the closest. They're just through the caves past the forest. But it's going to be...
So those are the ones we have to go through the giant territory?
You can
go around it.
Yeah, you can skirt the giant territory and go through the caves to get to them. The other one is the Wildfire, which is where most of their shamans come from, which is much deeper south in the cave. That one is the toughest one, from what he's telling me, because they have demon-blooded people within their tribe, which is why they can use magic. And that magic will make them quite dangerous to engage.
Do you say toughest in that they are more likely to side with the cultists, or toughest in that if we just assault them, they're going to be tough enemies?
Both, I'm assuming.
Most of them are magic users, meaning that they have the blood of demons and a connection to Yinogu directly. So it will be...
okay. So
it will be extremely hard to find anyone within that clan that will side with you over the cultists.
So it sounds like we have a clan through the Shroomwood Forest or the prison, where we will find more allies before we are ready to attack.
And if the clans will not work with you, he is recommending that you destroy them, or else they will side with the cultists when you strike at the main city.
Yes, that's definitely in the plan.
Yeah.
Flogral kind of puts his hand against his chest and growls something. Dosha says, he says that the Sharp Rock... Oop. And he drops something on the floor. He says the Sharp Rock are with you if you wish to attack one of the villages, but they do not wish to act too directly.
I think... I don't know. I guess I'd look to Anver to answer that. I was speaking as a player. Sorry, go ahead.
All good. Let's see. Well, probably best to just wait. You say the which one was the closer one? Not the Wildfire,
the Deep Fang, which are
the
right over here to the east of you.
Yeah, so you're saying the Deep Fang are more loyal than you, but not exactly the most loyal still.
They will be hard to convince. Again, their leadership is the closest to the cultists. There could be a way, I mean, he says, I don't know exactly what they might need, but there could be a way to convince them to join you. You might have to learn more information about them first, though.
How do we do that? We don't want to risk poor Dosha again, but no one else speaks the language.
Perhaps the Sharp Claw can send us an ambassador, a scout, a translator.
Poyo is going to start pointing to Ark. Poyo.
Yes, what is it?
And he can read minds.
Well, that's well and good, but I think we need somebody who can talk back without being suspicious.
Very useful, though.
You can read minds.
How did Poyo know this?
Well, Poyo did say he had met him before.
Yeah.
Oh.
And since Arcadian doesn't know Celestial, it's the only real way he could understand him.
Fantastic.
So sorry, you can read minds. Please tell me you're not doing that all the time.
I don't do it all the time.
Is it an active
I
I'm trying to kind of thing, or is it a constant it's there kind of thing?
Are we talking in character or out of character?
I think
Sorry,
they're all
I
in
totally
character right now.
I totally voiced that out of character, so please ignore me if you don't want to answer.
Okay. It's an interesting ability for sure.
Yes. Don't take this the wrong way. What are you?
I'm not surprised. Most have not seen my kin. Not even once in their lives. I am a Dragonborn. Essentially, I am a cross between a human and a dragon.
So, Arcana or Nature, when he says Dragonborn, might give you some insight if you have either of those trained. So
That
yes,
leaves me up.
Onyx, you actually have heard of Dragonborn, though you've never seen one before. So that makes sense when he mentions it. And I guess
Everyone
Look
but
at
me.
Eldwin might know more.
Yeah, Eldwin as well. You have definitely heard of Dragonborn and probably read a bit about them. And you actually know that he is even more rare among his kind, as the gems, the gem Dragonborn are very rare of a breed. Like, there was doubt that there were even any alive anymore.
Wow. You are rare. Let us sell you to breeders, collectors. Sorry, that was totally out of character. I'm being stupid. I apologize. I've been drinking. Sorry.
We had no
Do it
idea.
more often.
Yeah.
This is more fun. It makes Otto come more alive.
These are Otto's inner thoughts. But
Otto doesn't know what he's talking about, and now neither do you.
Otto's patron, controller, deity, somebody in the sky above him. Those inner thoughts, yes, that's what we're seeing now. That's me.
What is the sky you speak of?
The above, I don't know.
The cave
Whatever.
ceiling.
What is okay? Yeah, that's an interesting concept you just brought up. Like, okay,
Here's the really surreal thing about me.
As religion goes, what is like heaven when you've never seen a sky? That's really cool and interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the sky probably comes from stories, but many generations of people have never seen a sky. They've only known the inside of caves. So it probably is just some, like, crazy imaginary thing that no one knows much about. Or
So
some
do they
people
think
probably
of,
don't even believe it.
their deities? Do they think of their deities as being above or as among them, or?
It depends on the god. I mean, different gods have different
Yeah.
lores, but I mean, the celestial religions. It's not like Catholicism or Christianity. Like, it's very different because it's not a sky or a heaven; it's a different plane. So, it's
Sure.
it's not necessarily above. It's more just a different place.
We are here. Okay, cool.
Yeah. But anyway, so as you're all talking, I think, who was it that asked? I believe Onyx, you asked how communications with the Deep Fang would happen.
Right.
So if you say that in response, Dosha would nod and translate, and Flogrel will say back, translated, that if you do not have someone who can speak to them, it might be hopeless, and war might be the only option. We can try to talk to them ourselves, but that would be a dangerous idea to send a Sharp Rock person, because then they would know that we've turned.
True.
What if we disguised the person you send with us?
I think Dosha's just going to be the best bet for now, sadly.
Oh, like a disguise.
Just like so you could be a translator. We don't say that you are a warrior or anything else. Just you are our translator, and you.
Would you just approach the Deep Fang's gates? And
At
try
that point, we may as well just have Dosha.
I meant disguise your tattoos so that it's not immediately obvious that you're Sharpfang. Just that we have another translator beside Dosha. That's all I meant.
So Flogrel, give me a persuasion check. He seems hesitant to send his own people.
He will be more hesitant when I put up my persuasion check. Oh, that
Yeah,
wasn't
so
the worst.
he seems a little bit hesitant when Dosha translates. He doesn't really, and Dosha says he does not wish to risk the clan by possibly revealing that he is turned against the cultists. He would rather they stay out of it, because the Deep Fang and the Sharp Rock trade a lot, and they might recognize each other.
Understandable.
But they would be happy to help in other ways, and when the time is right, we will fight against other clans if necessary. But we just don't want to reveal ourselves too early.
No. For now, I think it's best we just start heading through to that camp with just Dosha and everything like that, and
Agreed.
see what we can figure out.
Maybe gather some more information.
Yes.
So at some point during that rest that we took, Otto would have been casting for a little bit, and when he completed his casting, his familiar would arrive again. And just for the new member of the party, a little, for the want of a better description, a little demon monkey would appear on Otto's shoulder, and he would speak to her as if she was the cutest, sweetest, friendliest, like, golden retriever puppy in the existence of sweet things. But anyone else that even looked at her, she would, like, turn and, like, screech at, and she basically has the appearance of, like, a demon monkey.
Interesting.
And my macros are completely weirdo right now, but I will link her look as soon as I can find it.
Do you have... You said you didn't have Arcana, right, Arc?
I do not have Arcana.
Alright, so this would just look like some weird little creature to you. You probably don't have much reference as to where it came from, but it does seem to screech a lot, which might make you even more uncomfortable.
Like,
There he is.
So is the group... Or sorry, go ahead.
But the rest of the group seems, even if they seem uncomfortable with the appearance of this little demon monkey, they seem to, like, somehow familiar. Like, they're, like, resigned to it. They're like, oh, okay, it's back.
We're all just giving it the side eye.
It died, but here it is again.
Ellen just lets out big sighs, like, 1 hour. I got 1 hour.
So yeah, did we want to have a long rest and reset everything, or just head out?
Yeah.
I'm fine either way.
It might be wise to have a long rest while we're
agree.
in a somewhat safe area.
Maybe fall back to the temple, or like the entrance of the temple at least for now and then.
Well, you are welcome... Or sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that sounds good, but oh yeah, I was also gonna say something. Yeah, our guardian is a gem dragonborn. He's on the endangered species list, and so long as he's alive, everyone else is on it too.
Oh, what does that mean?
What do you?
He gonna kill people.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I don't know. I'm not even sure if I asked that in character or out, because I'm not sure what insight we have into this. Yeah. Yeah.
Kid gone dynamite.
Oil's gonna help.
I think we'll go fall back to the temple and have a long rest so we're refreshed, and then go through the...
Alright, so as you're leaving, Flagral, I'm just gonna call him Grola. I don't like Flagral.
So he changed his name.
Changing his name. We'll call him Grola. Grola is going to stop the party and start saying something.
Grola means something different in Null and like his nickname among his buddies in like soldier training camp, right?
Yeah, it's probably a nickname or something. But he speaks to Dosha, and Dosha says he offers the town if we wish to stay here in secret. He will not reveal our location to the cultist, obviously, and his people are trustworthy.
They don't tend to look around or anything like that when they come by?
Dosha translates, and then he says, no, they generally just come here to pick up supplies. It's why they will not recognize that the leadership has changed. The cultists don't take much of an interest in us other than what we can provide them. It's why, he says, it's why the people here are not happy with them.
Well,
That sounds like the other tribes we've encountered too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tribe.
Well, if you feel like it will be safe enough, yes, we may as well stay here.
Alright, so the group is passing time as you attempt a long rest. As time is passing, Grola will come to you again, saying through Dosha that he remembers one thing about the Deep Fang. Some of the best warriors come from their tribe, and that they do have a weakness for ancient and magical weapons. So it's one way you might be able to impress or charm or something they might want if you have access to is fancy and magical weaponry.
I have a talking greatsword.
Yep, I think we just found a use for that.
So he would just tell you that. Give me a D20 roll.
Or actually, we can give them my glaive, and I can take the greatsword.
It depends on how it likes you.
You
Oh,
can make it to the great sword as well.
Look, you guys can fight over it later.
Yep.
what was the restriction on the greatsword? What alignment?
We don't know.
It did seem like it had an alignment, just that it seemed to have an intelligence to it. So it was a magical weapon that would speak to you if you, what's the word? Attune to it.
Attune.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
So as you're resting, it's probably about 5-ish or so in terms of time. Survival, you might be able to figure out the time, but you would hear a yell from the front gate, and as the yell happens, Grola runs out yelling something at Dosha, and Dosha says, cultists are here, we must hide.
Sneaky.
So Grola tells you to go off into the fields and hide back there, so kind of back here. What does the group want to do?
Go hide.
We're gonna do that, but I'm gonna try to stay close enough to observe.
Okay, so you're not gonna go deep into the fields. You want to stay kind of at the front.
Yeah, I want to see what they look like and kind of the pattern that they follow when they're inspecting or
You
collecting
be
supplies.
invisible.
I could be
and
invisible.
also,
I'll cast invisibility on myself. I'll do that. Sure.
All right.
I'm also curious. I mean, I guess I don't know if I have the chance to talk with Anvir before he goes on his way, but I would be curious
Yes.
if they seem bored. They're going about their routine. This is their assignment, so they're doing it, or they're like looking, you know?
Who are you talking about?
All right. So if Otto could be peering out of a hiding spot, watching these cultists explore the camp, I would like to.
Well, go ahead.
I think insight.
Move yourselves back into the field first of all, and show me where in the field you're
okay.
going to be. So the field is to the
I
north of you up here,
want to be in the field. Okay. Can I Okay.
or you can
All right,
hide somewhere else in the village. It's up to you. But they told you to go back and hide in the field.
All right. If they told me to, I will. Oh God, you put so many macros on my token. Oh my God. Holy wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Wow.
I've got a bunch
Wow.
of them too.
All right. So I guess I'm really far away, and it might not matter. But what I was trying to do was, are these? I wanted to know if these soldiers are. This is my job. I'm doing my job, and it's very routine. They're not really paying attention. They're going through their emotions. They're just do. So that they can go home, or if they're like invested. That's
Right.
That's
Well,
what I was looking for.
They haven't come in yet, but and Arc, you as well. You can see. Go ahead and move yourself up into the field where you want to be.
Onyx is like, I'm staying here. I'm gonna talk to
I'm
these
invisible. I'm
people.
invisible.
Oh, okay.
I'm
cool.
gonna.
You need to
I'm
put
gonna
some
try
mark
to
on you.
observe.
So
Put the
gonna
ninja.
try,
Good for you.
Right.
you're
That's
gonna try to
fantastic,
stay
yeah.
in the village.
I'm gonna try to stay in the village. I'll be like near a tent, so I'm kind of out of the way. But I do want to.
Did
I
we?
want to watch.
All right. So as
I
you
want
see,
to watch the process.
So as,
Before they come in,
yeah.
just to make sure that we're quiet, I'm gonna, I guess, quiet as possible. I'm going to cast. I'm actually gonna go and cast Polymorph on Hassan and turn them into a giant spider.
All right. So
Oh, giant spider.
Isn't that making him bigger?
Not- It does.
It makes him bigger, but he also gets a +7 to stealth. So
All right. So
But he also has no. Okay.
his mental state changes though with polymorph.
He no longer knows that he's our friend.
Well, he knows he can recognize you as friends. He's just not. He's not gonna. Well, yeah, he's just not gonna be as smart. All right. So you change Hassan into a spider. That lasts what, an hour?
I mean, was he that smart to begin with?
Probably not.
Nope.
2 points.
Hey.
But Onyx had
Okay.
control.
All right. So
He
as
was-
you're as
He
you're
has
all
a 4 intelligence.
as you're all
I'm not
rushing
sure
back
that
into the
Onyx has
field,
control now.
Onyx would vanish as he casts invisibility. Eldwin chants turning Hassan into a large spider, and the rest of you are taking cover in the mushroom crops here.
Sure.
So actually we are at 8:30, so this might be a good place to stop as the cultists are entering town. So why don't we do an MVP vote and end here?
Alright, oh, by the way, Arc, we have an MVP vote after every session where we just vote using /W space GM and then
Yeah, like
with
this,
whoever.
except without the parentheses. So you start off with 1 inspiration point, and you can spend those to get advantage on a roll. And if you win MVP, you get you can have up to 10 of them. And MVP is one way of getting an inspiration point.
Okay, so I automatically have 1 inspiration.
Yeah, it's like being inspired, except you can stack them, so you can have up to 10 of them. It's another
Sounds
resource.
interesting. Well, I honestly don't know who to vote for as MVP. I haven't been here that long.
I mean, it doesn't have to be that. Like, you don't have to think too much about it. Just like
For
if
that
you
session.
if you enjoyed someone's like role play, if you like their character, if you thought they were good in combat, like it can be anything. It doesn't have to be like just someone who you thought was interesting during the game or useful. Yeah, that's right. You got it.
don't know.
So
Totally misspelled
Anvir,
the-
with 3 votes, you are. Wait, did you vote twice, Eldwin?
Totally misspelled the name.
All right. Well, now let me recalculate here.
Don't get my hopes up, what?
No, it's still. It's actually still Anvir because it looks like
Oh,
everyone
cool.
else voted for a different person. So Anvir with 2 votes, your MVP. Congrats.
Yay.
Congratulations.
So you get an inspiration
Store it
point,
away.
and next
Yeah.
time we will continue the story as the group attempts to figure out what to do in these Knoll caves with all these cultists around them.
We didn't finish the long rest there, did we?
No, you were. It's getting towards the end of the day when these cultists showed up. So,
Daisy, just checking.
yeah, so you still no refresh on spells yet. But,
Oh, good.
Yeah, hopefully everyone had fun, and we'll see you all next week. Welcome to the group.
See ya.
Welcome, Arc. I'm gonna take some.
Welcome.
I'm gonna be taking some
Welcome,
notes, but you guys are free to take off or hang around. Up to you.
Who was note taking
Thanks,
this
Luke.
time?
Bye.
This Poyo. Oh, did I forget to do the scribe this game?
I think we forgot to tell him he was the scribe.
That's right, because
Oh, no.
Poyo is having headset issues. Are you still there, Poyo?
Joey left
I'll send them
immediately.
at the end.
He's like, I'm out of here. Does anyone else want to take scribe for the inspiration point? Yeah, you came in late, so I wasn't going to expect you. Did anyone want to do it? You would get an inspiration point if you want to write a little summary of what happened from either your character's point of view or just in general.
I sent the message to Poyo, telling him that he's the scribe or whatever.
All right. Well, if he does it, fine. If he doesn't, no. It was
He
mostly.
started typing in the journal, so I think he's doing it.
All right. Cool. Excellent. But yeah. So yeah, if anyone wants to talk about anything or have any questions, I'll be around for a bit while I'm doing these notes.
Well, I think I'll be all good for now. Thanks. This is a very fun start.
All right.
Catch you guys
great.
next week.
Yeah. Take it
Good night,
easy,
guys.
everyone.
Alright, have a good one.
Oh, Lou.
Yes.
Is it dinner time for you? Do you want to go eat? Are you hungry? Because I understand if you are. Like, I know I'm like 3 hours ahead of you, so like sometimes when I'm like, hey, like let me talk to you about stuff, but then you're like, I need to eat, and I understand.